Hello, this is Ms. Stevens, and I'm going to show you some things that might be handy for your poetry assignment. On my Canvas homepage, you'll see Ms. Shanks, Mrs. Rocco poetry presentation. So you can just click on that link, and it will bring you to this. These are the same requirements that you have in Canvas and Mrs. Rocco and Shanks classroom, except for it's got a few updates that Mrs. Shanks just told me about that include only having 3 bullet points per slide, and each bullet point only having 6 words, and the fact that you can have a note card if you want, front and back, but no staring at the card because you have to make eye contact with students. Now, you can copy this template or make your own. When you click on this link, it's going to take you to this. This is a copy that I made of Ms. Shanks's model presentation. And here's how you use it. You're going to put the full name of your poet there. This first slide is your biographic information that corresponds and goes with the date and place of birth, date and place of death. Oh, I can't make let me change the screen a little bit. As I was saying, it has, on this slide, it says see below for requirements. What the biographic information means is the date and place of birth, date and place of death, if applicable, and the writing and accomplishments. This is slide 2, and it corresponds with this right here, slide 2, date and place of birth, date and place of death, writing and accomplishments. So if your poet was Shel Silverstein, you'd be putting Shel Silverstein there, and then you'd have Shel Silverstein's biographic information. You'd put when he was born, what his, if he died, when he died, his writing and accomplishments. So they would be his. So in other words, you're gonna take this out. You know, you'll have made a copy of this, of course. Take this out. Take this out and put your own poet's information in there. Finally, you don't need this anymore. So you take that out. Take this out. And all you'd have is all the Shel Silverstein stuff. Take that out too. You might want to change, I put the stuff back in now when I paused it, but you might want to change some things around. As long as you've got the date and place of birth, the date and place of death, if applicable, and some of the famous things that your poet wrote or accomplished, you're good to go. Slide 3. You'll just fill in your own information. So, slide 3 is a newsworthy event that happened during the author's life that could have affected their writing. So you could say how the times affected the name of your poet's writing. And, whoops, that of course corresponds to, right there, newsworthy events. It's slide 3. So you are going to make it your own. You're going to write your poet's name there. You're going to write your poet's information there. Get that out of there. And then you're going to delete everything else, and it'll be your slide. Why that's on every slide. Oh well. Then, for style of writing, you're going to notice in one of the poet's poems, some styles that that poet uses, and the requirements are right here. A little bigger. You might see, I'm going to get rid of that. Nope. Everything's kind of glitching out. So what a great time for a Christmas joke or two. So we have, why did Scrooge keep a pet lamb? Because it would say, bah, humbug. We also have, why do Dasher and Dancer love coffee? Because they're Santa's Starbucks. Starbucks. Finally, we have, what does the gingerbread man use to make his bed? A cookie sheet. Now, back to where we were. As I was saying, and this thing won't move, you're going to look at your poem and you're going to say to yourself, oh, they used rhyme. Something rhymed, and you're going to put that in this slide. Then you're going to say, oh, onomatopoeia, a word that sounded exactly like it is. And then you might say, the poet used hyperbole. So the three that you find in your poem, you'll put there. You'll reference your own poem here. Make sure this is now your slide. And then however Mrs. Rocco or Miss Shanks want you to recite it or whatever. Okay, very good. Moving right along. And of course this, is E, so it corresponds to E. Now we are at slide 5. This is when you give, it says right here, examples from that poem that show the use of each poetic quality. So let's say your poem used humor. Well, Miss Shanks has italicized the humor in this poem. What about understatement? Miss Shanks has bolded the understatement. What if it used repetition? Miss Shanks has underlined repetition. So you're going to put those excerpts from your poem that use those things and then signal where they are by italicizing or bolding or highlighting or something like that. And then you're going to get rid of all the instructions. Of course, at the end, you're going to have a works cited page. To avoid plagiarism, you're going to delete this stuff, put your own in, get rid of the yellow, get rid of this stuff, and be ready to be awesome for your presentation.